It is Saturday, it's July 29th, and I feel pretty confident that most of you knew that without me telling you that at the outset. But I also feel that you had no idea that on this day in 1965, the Beatles' second movie, Help, had its debut in the United Kingdom. Yep. And even the most ardent of Beatles fans, I don't even think you're aware that the original working title of that movie was Eight Arms to Hold You. Yeah, just doesn't quite have the same ring as Help, does it? And it wasn't actually changed to Help until shortly before the movie's release. Now, it didn't have its release in the United States till about a month later, August 25th of 1965 to be specific, but to say it was an overwhelming success would be a little bit of an understatement. Other little tidbits on this day before I get to your complimentary play on the Mets-Mariners game in Seattle. In 1958, President Eisenhower decided to create NASA because he was a little pissed off because the Soviet Union took the first step in the space race. And sad news, of course, 1976, son of Sam, David Berkowitz, started his reign of terror by committing his first murder, keeping the streets of New York, the citizens of New York, on their heels for about an 18-month period until he was finally captured. What else can I tell you? Huge celebrity wedding in 1981. Worldwide television audience. Do you remember what it was? Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer. 19 years later, another ill-fated, national attention-grabbing marriage as well that didn't last. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. So there you go. Who needs to go to TMC? You get it all right here. What can I tell you? Here's one for you. So I was lucky enough growing up to live in an area in suburban Pennsylvania where we had cable. Oh my gosh, we had cable in mid 70s. And the cable system that we had when MTV made its debut, we had it on the opening day. And if you remember back in those days, MTV had this great little advertising campaign where they had all, Billy Idol and Sting and Pat Benatar and everybody that was big in music at that time. Those little commercials, call your cable company, tell them, I want my MTV. And they were catchy little commercials. Well, we had it from day number one. But so many of my friends and family members, they didn't have MTV. So I remember, we used to take our little two-head VCR and pop in tapes and record 2 hours of MTV, and I'd give those tapes to my friends or whatever because they didn't know what this MTV thing was, and everybody wanted to watch music videos at the time, and hey, that was the thing to do. So NBC television got smart and they thought, hey, everybody's clamoring for this MTV thing, and nobody was really doing a show on the public airwaves, the free airwaves for video. So they started this thing in 1983 called Friday Night Videos, and they started running it Friday nights at 12:30, which I guess Johnny Carson's show must have been only an hour at that point because 11:30 to 12:30, right. And I guess at that point, after 12:30, I don't know what Tom Snyder's show was on. I don't even remember back in those days. I wasn't watching it. But Friday Night Videos made its debut. It was a 90-minute show. It ran from 12:30 to 2 o'clock. And it was a video formatted show where they had hosts. I think the first show, in case you happen to be in Jeopardy, was hosted by Belinda Carlisle, who was the lead singer of the Go-Go's because they were big at that time with their album Vacation, I believe it was called. I think so, Vacation. Anyway, she was the first host. They had rotating hosts. They had some comedians. They had comedy segments over the years, etc. And it was a little more diverse show than MTV because they had like Hall of Fame videos, I remember, where they'd show some like 60s and 70s clip videos. They had played a little more R&B videos as well, more emerging group videos. But what can I tell you? It was an interesting program, not one that I really followed because, hey, I had my MTV. I didn't need them. But the show actually survived in one incarnation or another until 2002. I don't think they ended up playing as many videos because, hey, as the years went on, everybody had cable and everybody had MTV. Plus, I never needed to watch the show because MTV had something they didn't have. And if you were a teenage boy then, MTV had Martha Quinn. That's all that mattered, really, right? Okay, let's get to your complimentary play here. The game I'm going to take a look at is actually on the daytime card. I'm going to go with the Mets, who right now, as I do this report, my God, it's 4:55 in the morning. I got to get a life. Um, mm, I'm actually helping my son today move into a new apartment. Yeah, just what I need to be doing. So I'm going to go with the Mets minus $1.35 today at Seattle. They won last night's opener. They're going with Jacob deGrom today, and the guy has been a little hot. Yeah, just a little hot today. Well, actually, it's a little hot where I'm at right now. I'm looking here over at my TV, and it says right now the current temperature it is 87 degrees, and I think the humidity is like 45%. It's only going to 105 today. Hey, it's going to be a cool day here today. Anyway, all he has done is won his last 8 starts with a 1.61 earned run average in that span and over a 61.2 inning stretch in that 8 start span. He's only allowed 39 hits. He's only walked 12 batters. He struck out 58. I mean, the guy has just been lights out. Now, on the other side, Seattle's going with Yovani Gallardo. He just returned to the starting rotation last Sunday against the Yankees, and it was a typical Gallardo performance, which I don't think you hear that phrase in the English language too often. But anyway, Gallardo last Sunday against the Yankees, he worked 5 innings, he gave up 5 hits. 3 of those 5 hits left the ballpark, okay? And you look at his performance this year, and it's similar to the lousy performance he had last year when he was a starter with the Orioles. He's made 19 appearances this year, 15 of them have been starts, and in 92 innings, he's allowed 137 base runners. And that's why he has an earned run average that's well north of 5 on the year. Last year, with the Orioles, he had a 5.42 earned run average, and in 23 starts, he worked 118 innings, 187 base runners. The numbers are very consistent. Basically, every time he turns his head around, he's got somebody on first, second, or third. That's the problem with Gallardo. So the Mets won 7-5 last night. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. You know, I got to think the Mets locker room, clubhouse is excited, bolstered today because the Mets made an unexpected move during the game last night. This is a team that everybody thought was going to be a seller with the trade deadline approaching. Instead, the Mets went out and they got an all-star reliever, A.J. Ramos, from the Marlins last night. So that has been a weak spot for them, the back end of the bullpen all season. And yet they went out and got a guy that made the all-star team and had 20 saves. So even though he may not be joining the team in time for today's game, and I don't know if he will or won't, I can tell you from my years as being a reporter, you go into a locker room around the trade deadline, and 2 things happens. When a team goes out and the GM or the president, somebody goes out and swings a deal and brings in reinforcements, it's like a kid on Christmas morning opening up gifts that they forgot were under the tree, hidden in the back corner. They opened up all their gifts and they found that one extra present. It's like Nirvana. Everybody is like built up. Or you're in the sell-off mood and you know you're just playing out the rest of the string and the season's never going to end, and you know guys are just going to be moving out and you're just playing for numbers, your own personal numbers the rest of the year. Because, hey, that's all it is. It's a depressing scene. Well, the Mets seemingly were going the latter route, but last night everything changed. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to make the playoffs, but still, they went out and they solved one of their problems last night. So I think that also has to be an added little confidence builder, knowing, A, they've won 7 out of 10. They won last night. They got their ace going today, and they got some bullpen reinforcements as well. So, again, they're not going to get to the playoffs, I don't think. They certainly aren't going anywhere this year. But the clubhouse definitely has to be getting a little morale boost from that acquisition. So, I think the price is pretty fair, too. I wouldn't be surprised if this price goes up, but I certainly wouldn't play them on the run line either. But the Mets minus $1.35 at 5 a.m. in the morning, I like them. Good luck, everybody. I'll talk to you again tomorrow when I do this one more time, and you do as well. Good luck.